Hi, folks. Mike Dorety, firearms instructor from Southwest Florida. Here tonight again. As I promised, we'll be doing a lot of these shorts, and tonight's going to be a little bit longer because tonight we're going to talk for the first time about a gun. Time to Get a Gun. Great song by Miranda Lambert. If you haven't heard it, pull it up on iTunes or whatever. It's called "Time to Get a Gun," and it's a funny song, but a good song. So the gun we're going to talk about tonight, which is just going to be a good example of the pistol, is this little guy. I know you were expecting a giant, extremely big, monstrous gun, but you don't need an extremely big, monstrous gun to defend yourself. Okay? Um, Great carry gun. This is made by Smith& Wesson. This is the Bodyguard 2.0. It came out this year, I think, in 26. I shot this gun about 8 or 9 months ago for the first time on the range, and I can't tell you how impressed I was. The gun is a very, very soft shooter. What makes it an interesting gun is we talked about 22s a couple of videos ago, and that I had been questioned by salespeople and even other range officers and instructors about can a 22 caliber stop a bad guy? And my opinion, of course, is yes. If you have to shoot him 3 or 4 times, shoot him 3 or 4 times, but nobody wants to get shot at all. This guy carries the next size bullet up. So it's a larger bullet, and the projectile that comes out is the same as the 9mm, the bigger gun. Let's see if I have one around here. I do. So this is a SIG 365, and this is a full 9mm. Again, another wonderful piece of engineering and a great gun. But we'll get to this guy and the size gun later, and they get bigger from here, okay? But the 9mm bullet and the 380 bullet have the same projectile. The difference is the shell on the back of the bullet is smaller and carries less gunpowder. So the bullet is not going to carry quite as far or have quite as much punch. But it's made to shoot at 7, 10, maybe 15 yards at the most, I would think. And I've got to tell you, when I took it out in the range, I was skeptical because a smaller gun like this usually has a lot more recoil. All right? This gun has been developed in a way that really makes the recoil minimal, and it's what's called a soft shoot. So when you shoot it, it's really very, very simple to handle and does not kick like a mule. Normally, the smaller the gun, the more kick or recoil you have. This one doesn't. It's really, really well developed. And so I was totally impressed to the point where I bought one. Great pocket gun, great little carry gun, great gun for smaller people, smaller hands, ladies. Wonderful gun for you to carry. And if the bad guy is within, 7 yards of you and you have to pull a gun out and stop him, this is a good choice. So the 380 is going to come out of the front of the barrel. This is the barrel. This part up here is the slide on the top, okay? And then we have our sights, front sight and the rear sights, all right? Really no amazing science going on here other than the way they build it, okay? Now I'm going to Keep my finger off the gun, as we talked about before. Most instructors will tell you to keep your finger on the gun, on the side of the gun. I will tell you to keep your finger off the gun. It's not necessary for it to be there and potentially that close to the trigger. And that's the way my dad, who was an instructor in the Marine Corps, taught me at the ripe old age of 5 to hold the gun and keep my finger off the gun completely until it was time to shoot. Okay? All right, so now back to the gun. We have the slide on top. And you heard that little click? That moves the slide forward. Now, if we were in shooting mode, we would have our magazine, and let's put the gun down for a minute and talk about the magazine. The magazine is a marvel of engineering as well. This little tiny magazine carries 12 bullets and one extra in the chamber. So 13 bullets in a package like this is remarkable. Now, this gun is not made for shooting long distances, but it's great for defending yourself in close. A good gun for the house. If you're in the living room and somebody's trying to come in the front door. Normally in a house we want a larger gun, so we can shoot at a greater length and the full length of the house. But just a great gun if you're being attacked from somebody who's not very far away, say 10 yards, 7 yards, something like that. This is going to stop them, and it's going to stop them thoroughly. Okay, so, and the fact that we can put 12 in here and one in the gun itself, in the barrel, is just awesome. We like bullets. Bullets are a good thing because a lot of us don't take the time to go to the range and shoot a lot. So there could be the possibility of missing. And if you're going to miss, it's good to know that you've got an extra 4 or 5 bullets to help you out there. All right, so getting back to the gun, the top of the gun is metal. The bottom is polymer or plastic, okay? And this gun does not have a physical safety on the outside over here. That, in my mind, is great, okay? A lot of people, really the older models of guns up until the last few years have always had a physical safety, a slide or a button up here that you push before you can shoot the gun. The problem with that is that when you're being attacked, your body is going through all kinds of changes. The adrenaline is flowing, the major muscle groups are not working well, and you're panicked, okay? So the less that you have to think about when you're drawing your gun, pointing the gun, and shooting is better. If I have another thing to deal with here, which is the safety, that could cost me my life. And actually the safety for the right-handed person is on this side. For the left-handed person, normally you can get the safety put on the side if you want an external safety. I don't, and I'm not a proponent, okay? Now there is a safety here on the trigger. I don't know if you can see this or not, but there's this little guy here who's sticking out. And he is a warning sign to you that, hey, you're putting your finger on my trigger here, all right? So, like, you wouldn't know that, but it is a safety that warns you that you are about to press the trigger. And when you press the trigger, of course, the gun's job is to shoot. I want to go back up to the slide for a minute and talk just a little bit about that. So the slide has a couple of different jobs. The first job is to, we're going to take our mag and we're going to put it up inside the gun. Now, before we do anything else, we're going to push the slide back and we're going to do a safety check. We talked about this in the last couple of videos, and I want to be consistent and keep talking about that. You should be able to look inside here and never put your fingers in there, by the way. And let's see if I can get this thing up against the camera. But right up there in the front, in this area here, if there were a bullet, you would be able to see it in there. Okay? There's not going to be a bullet anywhere else in the slide. It's going to be up there. The bullets, the other bullets, are going to be in the magazine, which are going to be in the handle of the gun. All right? So the slide's job is to bring it back to this position. If we were to fire the gun, if we were to put our finger on the trigger and press the trigger and the gun was loaded, we had a magazine, we had 12 inside the handle of the gun, and we had one in the chamber, 13 altogether, and we pressed that trigger, this slide would come flying back, okay? It would eject the shell from the first bullet that comes out, all right? It would pick up the next bullet out of the slide. It would fly forward and be ready to shoot again. Boom. It would then slide back. It would pick up the next bullet and boom, we shoot again. So it's semi-automatic. Boom, 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 boom. And each time we do that, the slide comes back, ejects the shell, picks up the next bullet, and we press the trigger and the next bullet comes out. Okay? So really great engineering. Just a quantum leap from the old revolver. Remember we talked about the wheel gun and how it carried 5 bullets and you had a hammer on the back of it. The more modern ones had the hammer inside the gun, but it still had a hammer, and very, very hard to pull the trigger. On these guys, it's not very hard to pull the trigger. The trigger actually pulls pretty easily, okay? So let me see if I can turn it around this way and show you. Pretty darn easy, all right? So as fast as you can do that, this thing is gonna slide back and forth. It's gonna do its job. It's gonna eject the shell. It's gonna pick up the next one. It's going to slide forward and you can shoot again. It's going to eject, pick up a bullet, slide forward, and shoot again, and shoot again, and shoot again, and shoot again, up to 13 times. Pretty amazing and pretty cool. Very, very light. This is, I don't know what it weighs in at. I'd have to go check the specs on it, but it's almost feather light. Now, that in itself brings up a bit of discussion. Normally, a heavier gun has less recoil. A lighter gun has more recoil, okay? More kick. This thing has been designed in a way that really minimizes that recoil. So when you've got your hand correctly positioned on the gun, okay? You're shooting with one hand or you're shooting with 2 hands, all right? The recoil is going to be very, very minimal, which is what I said earlier. It's a soft shoot. I was shocked. I really was. I was shocked at the accuracy of the gun. Because the recoil was so minimal, the gun was just really accurate. And now I'm not talking, 30, 40 yards, but at 7, 10 yards, you're going to hit him right in the chest. And you're going to hit him, now this is where it gets interesting again, with a 9mm size bullet or projectile coming out of this gun. It's a big bullet. It's a darn, in fact, I've got some artificial bullets here. These are called snap caps, okay? Now these snap caps are 9mm snap caps. But the projectile, the top part here, is the same in the 380 and the 9mm. The only difference is the shell, all right, this part, the bottom of the bullet that holds the gunpowder is smaller in the 380. So you get less gunpowder, less recoil, and you still get the 9 millimeter bullet, which is one heck of a big bullet. It's it's the primary bullet now for all law enforcement and military, the 9 millimeter. Okay, so having that bullet in the 380 package and having something this light, this small, and accurate is just remarkable. It's really a great gun. If we go up a step from this, this is the Sig Sauer 365, and this, by the way, is one of my favorite carry guns. I'll carry this one all day long. This is my go to the grocery store gun. This is my normal carry gun, small gun, but it's a 9 millimeter. So it's got the bigger shell, same bullet, bigger shell, and this thing carries a bunch. Um, I'm going to lay this down for a minute. Again, we're going to do a safety check. We're going to drop the magazine here real quick. This guy carries 12 and 1, but these are 9 millimeter. Again, we're going to look in there and see that we don't have a bullet. You get a little better view. You see that shiny part. That's where the bullet feeds up into the barrel. Okay, and we can look under here. There you are. There's no bullets in the gun. The gun is completely safe. And this is the only way to be dealing with a gun when you're at home, working with your gun, practicing with your gun, cleaning your gun. You want to make sure that the bullets are in another room, right? And the gun is always safe and clear. This is a great carry gun. In fact, they've made an entire line of these now with more bullets, longer barrels, um, red dot, as they call them, hollow sun sights. It's a special new type of sight that's been out for. It's probably actually been in manufacture for 10 years, but hasn't really caught on for the last until the last 3 or 4 years, and now they're widely used. Most police departments and most people that shoot a lot and carry guns are using the hollow sun sight. But this guy has the same sights as the smaller one, right? The front sight, and we have two back sights there, as you can see. This guy has night sights on them. So, and I think you can get night sights for the little one as well. So, if you have to reach out in the dark, you can see where your gun is, and you can see the sights on the gun. Now, what I suggest is if you're going to have the gun outside of the safe, maybe next to your head and on your nightstand or in the bed frame, you're going to have a holster over it. And these are nice little pocket holsters, they call them. They come from 3 or 4 different manufacturers and just slide right in there. And that whole package just slides right into your pocket. When the slide is down, that's what it looks like. Okay. Of course, it's going to have the mag in it. The mag is empty and clear, right? All right. Now that guy would be racked one time. We'd have one in here. We'd have 12 in here, and that is a great carry package. All right, you would put that in your belt. Some people could carry it in their pockets. Blue jeans, probably not great for blue jeans, but other types of pants, yeah, you could do that. I usually carry it. Now, these holsters, by the way, the manufacturers that make them so that they stick to your clothing. So you actually loosen up your belt, you put the gun down in your pants between your underwear and your pants, and it holds. So it's going to hold the holster, and when you go to pull the gun out, the gun's going to come right out, but the holster is going to stay there in your pants. Reholstering is not that easy to do, but if you have to use the gun in a gunfight, you're not going to be reholstering anyway. We'll talk more about that later. So, getting back to the basic gun for just 1 minute, the slide on top, the trigger, the grip, right? The hand grip, and then the magazine. Inside the gun, the one other piece that we care most about, well, two pieces actually. We care about our barrel, all right, this guy, and we care about our spring. These guns are not complicated. They only have really four, maybe five at the most, pieces to them. So when it's time to clean the gun, they come apart very easily. You can clean this gun in 10 or 15 minutes if you're a normal human being. If it's me, it probably would take me 45 minutes because I'm just nuts about having a super clean gun all the time, well oiled. But keep the gun clean, keep the gun oiled, and it will keep you safe. So anyway, that is a bit about guns, and I specifically wanted to bring some of the smaller guns that we talk about and that we use on a daily basis into view for new shooters and ladies. These are great guns for ladies because ladies like to dress a little differently than men. And you know, I hear it all the time. Well, how do I get a big gun in my in my pants? How's that going to work? Or you know, I want to wear this type of clothing or that type of clothing. Guns like this, there's only a couple manufacturers that make really good ones. Smith and Wesson being one of them, Sig being another. They're guns that you can adapt to the way that you dress. I always suggest to everyone that you dress to the gun. Okay, so you want the gun to be concealed, you want the gun to be covered. I know there's new laws, Second Amendment states like Florida allow you to carry the gun on the outside of your clothing now. I don't know why anybody would do that. We'll talk about that again a little bit later. But for concealment, this is a fantastic solution. And it's very, very easy to use, very easy to shoot, and very easy to be accurate with. So the one thing you're going to find, I hear it over and over again from ladies, is I feel safer. I feel empowered. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to go from the car to the elevator in the hospital parking lot, in those covered parking lots. I'm not afraid to walk across the Walmart parking lot. I'm not afraid to be at home at night because I have a firearm and I've been trained and I know how to use it. So that is, that's really the purpose of this entire exercise, isn't it? It's not about wanting to have to use this. It's a tool, and you know it's a tool that we never want to use. But if we have to, we want to be ready, and we want to have the right tool. So that's a good opening, I think, for the novice or the new shooter. It's also darn good information for an old guy like me who just wants a smaller gun that's convenient and light and easy to carry and still gives me that same sense of security. So let's take this one and call it a video, and we'll post it up on YouTube and our other social media platforms. And hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you've learned something from it. And as we go through our journey here, we'll talk more about guns. And I don't own a lot of guns, but each gun that I own has a very distinct purpose, and we'll talk more about that later on. Thank you very much. And again, Mike Dorety from Southwest Florida, and stop the threat. Thank you.